being present is so important because you're going to rely on your memories so much in this industry. And when you see something, you have to immediately go, okay, I know what that is. I know where that goes. And it can be stuff like the director just said he likes his coffee like this. Let's say you want to be in the art department and like the head of art likes her tea a certain way, and you just remember those things. And when you interact with them and you bring up those things that you remember, those little pieces that are just personal to them, that's where they're like, oh my goodness, you remembered that. And that makes a lasting impression. Maya Angelou has a like famous quote where she said, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but it's like, people won't remember what you said to them. People won't remember what you do to them, but people remember the way you make them feel. Remember, that's how it works. So how do I keep in someone's mind? How do I keep that? Always having like a notepad and a pen on you at all times just to write stuff down, right? So you don't want to be on your phone. It doesn't look good at the PA level. Once you start, moving up the ranks and things like that, you're on your phone constantly because you're getting emails, you're getting calls, you have two walkies in your ears. So like it gets pretty nutty pretty quick. What you're doing is you're supporting the production, right? So like when I first started PAing, I started doing things like I knew that these people were coming in from Chicago, right? They were probably going to want to do some stuff on their off time. So on my own, I would create my own little packet with like some things for sightseeing if they had the day off. I'm a foodie, so I love like great restaurants, like off the wall stuff. So I gave them a lot of great suggestions, like vegetarian stuff. Like if I know they're coming from LA, 100% find something vegan, vegetarian. You kind of do this kind of pre-work stuff. And what these people do is they're like, oh man, like not only are they on top of it, like they seem to have it all together. And then next time they come to town or they send maybe another crew out to that same location, they're calling you first. Because why would I have to go anywhere else? This person gets it. They were ready for us the first time. Why wouldn't they be ready for us the second time? And then boom, you're in with that production company. So whenever that production company does something in that state or in that city, boom, you're first on their list. So just like the magic list works your way, where you put your contacts in there and you try to reach out to them, I'm doing the same thing as someone who hires. Like I have lists for pretty much every state that I've worked in. So I know that I have a few names everywhere I go now that I can call on. And if they can't do it, I know that they were reliable enough where they'll suggest someone who will be equally on point with the work and everything.
You have lists of everybody in every department as a production manager, right? You've got your
Oh yeah, yeah,
DPs, you've
yeah.
got PAs, you've got sound mixers, you've got production designers, you got catering companies, you got everything right there. And if they're not good, they're off your list, or you got do not call on your list, right?
Yeah, especially when you start working in bigger markets, I mean, it's nothing to be like, okay, well, this vendor isn't going to work out, but I'm going to find like 10 other vendors, or this person is unavailable. We're going to find somebody else. But especially for people in local markets, being available is very important because being with a smaller pool, you're obviously going to be competing with other people in your position. It becomes a thing about availability now. So I know Janet talks about, trying to take shorter projects so that you can put in more volume than necessarily like time, especially when you start out. It was actually more beneficial for me to do 2-day gigs than 3-day gigs, maybe a week gig, because once it started rolling in and people started understanding like Anton's good at what he does, and he's kind of funny on set and stuff. That was it. Like I was getting called left and right. All those connections, again, it's escalating. So they all build on top of each other because like the experience you have with one, you take into the other. Like I said, you got to be active because you gotta learn from other people. You got to learn from their mistakes. Just in general in life, if you're not learning from other people's mistakes, you're not observing life. It's so important that you don't have to make the mistake to learn from it. if you can see a PA do something, or not even a PA, I mean, like there's people above the line making mistakes all the time. So like you learn from these people and these other disciplines, and it's all stuff you could take. Again, being present and observing is a big part of the learning process, especially at this stage.